There will be moments in your life when someone will try to shake your foundation with their words. They will test your patience, question your worth, and push you toward a reaction. But in those moments, remember this: silence is not surrender, it is power. Silence is often misunderstood. People mistake it for weakness, for passivity, for not having the courage to speak up. But real strength isn't always loud. It doesn't always come with a raised voice or a sharp response. Strength is knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. Strength is understanding that not every battle is worth fighting, especially when it comes to disrespect. When someone disrespects you, there's an immediate urge to react. It's human nature to want to defend yourself, to correct the narrative, to make sure they understand that their words or actions were unacceptable. But in that moment, the true test isn't in how quickly you can respond, it's in how well you can control your response. Walking away, choosing silence, letting the moment pass without engagement, that requires more discipline than any comeback ever could. Disrespect is often a reflection of the person delivering it, not the one receiving it. People project their own insecurities, frustrations, and fears onto others. They lash out, they degrade, they undermine, not because you deserve it, but because they are carrying something heavy within themselves. Engaging with that kind of energy doesn't fix anything. It doesn't make them respect you. It doesn't change their perspective. More often than not, it just fuels the negativity and drags you into a conflict that isn't worth your time. Holding your silence isn't about letting people walk all over you. It's about understanding that you don't need to validate their words by reacting to them. When you stay quiet, you strip their words of power. You refuse to give them the satisfaction of seeing you rattled. You maintain control over yourself, your emotions, and your energy. That kind of control is powerful. It sends a message without ever needing to be spoken. There's a deep kind of confidence in knowing that you don't have to prove yourself to anyone, that you are secure enough in your own value that someone else's attempt to diminish it doesn't shake you, that you can hear disrespect, recognize it for what it is, and move forward without letting it define you. It's easy to react, it's easy to argue, but it takes true strength to stay quiet, to walk away, and to let your dignity speak louder than any words ever could. When faced with disrespect, the instinct to react is immediate, the mind races, emotions surge, and the need to defend yourself feels urgent. But in these moments, there is something more powerful than a quick response: the ability to pause. That pause, that brief moment of silence before action, holds an incredible amount of strength. It is not weakness, nor is it avoidance. It is a conscious decision to control the situation rather than letting the situation control you. People often think that the faster they react, the stronger they appear. But true strength is not in the speed of your response. It is in the wisdom of it. A rushed reaction is rarely a well thought out one. It is driven by emotion rather than reason. It is fueled by pride rather than perspective. When you pause, even for just a few seconds, you give yourself space to process. You give yourself room to decide how you want to handle the situation rather than letting the situation dictate your response. Disrespect by nature is designed to provoke. It is meant to trigger a reaction, to pull you into conflict, to shake your sense of composure. But when you pause, you break that cycle. You refuse to let someone else's words dictate your emotional state. That moment of stillness allows you to recognize what is happening before you decide whether it is even worth your energy. More often than not, you will realize that responding is unnecessary. Pausing does not mean you ignore the situation. It does not mean you suppress your emotions. It means you take control of them. It allows you to step back and see the bigger picture. Does engaging with this person serve you? Does reacting help, or does it only escalate the situation? Does proving your point matter more than protecting your peace? These are the questions that only a pause can answer. When you choose to pause instead of react, you also take away the power from the person who disrespected you. They expect an immediate response. They expect anger, frustration, or defensiveness. But when you don't give them that, you shift the balance of control. You show them that their words don't have the power they assumed, that their attempt to shake you has failed, that you are not easily swayed by negativity. The ability to pause before responding is a sign of emotional intelligence. It is a skill that requires practice, patience, and self-awareness. It is a choice that places you in control of your emotions rather than being controlled by them. It is an act of strength that allows you to rise above the moment rather than be consumed by it. And in that space of stillness, you find clarity, power, and an unshakable sense of self. Your worth is not determined by someone else's words, actions, or opinions. It is not up for debate, and it is not something that can be taken away by disrespect. When someone speaks to you in a way that is meant to belittle or diminish you, it says far more about them than it does about you. Disrespect is a reflection of the person delivering it, not the one receiving it. The mistake many people make is internalizing the negativity that is thrown at them. They start questioning themselves, wondering if maybe, just maybe, there's some truth in what was said. But here's the truth. Your value doesn't fluctuate based on how someone else perceives you. It is not something that can be decided by another person's lack of kindness, awareness, or respect. No matter what is said to you, your worth remains. Disrespect is often rooted in someone else's insecurities, frustrations, or unresolved emotions. People who feel small try to make others feel smaller. People who feel powerless attempt to exert control over others through their words. And when they project their negativity onto you, it is easy to assume that their words hold weight. But they don't. Their perception does not define your reality. Their criticism does not rewrite your identity. Their disrespect does not lower your value. Think about a diamond. If someone steps on it, if it falls in the dirt, if it is thrown aside, does its worth decrease? No. It remains valuable, regardless of how it is treated. The same goes for you. A person's words may try to dim your shine, but they cannot take away what is already within you. When faced with disrespect, remind yourself that you do not need to prove your worth. It is not something that requires justification. It is not something that needs to be defended. The moment you try to argue with someone about your value, you are giving them power they don't deserve. You are engaging in a battle that was never yours to fight. Holding on to your self-worth in the face of disrespect is not about ignoring what was said. It's about refusing to absorb it. It's about understanding that their words do not change who you are. It's about walking away, not because you are weak, but because you are secure enough to know that their opinion holds no weight. Your worth is not up for debate. It never was. And no amount of disrespect will ever change that. When someone disrespects you, it can feel personal. Their words may sting, their actions may feel like an attack, and the natural response is to fight back, to defend, to correct the narrative. But here's the truth. When you react in anger, you give them exactly what they wanted. You let them control the moment. You hand over your power. Disrespect is often designed to provoke, to pull you into a battle that drains your energy and shifts the focus away from what truly matters. The person who disrespects you is looking for a reaction. They want to see you flustered. They want to watch you scramble to defend yourself. And when you engage, you give them that satisfaction. You allow their words to dictate your emotions. You let their negativity enter your space and take up residence in your mind. But what happens when you don't react? What happens when you choose silence instead of anger, distance instead of engagement? You take back control. You make it clear that their words do not dictate your reality. You refuse to let them win. Silence is not about weakness, and it's not about ignoring reality. It's about refusing to let someone else's words define you. It's about understanding that not every comment deserves a response, that not every insult requires retaliation, that the best way to shut down negativity is to refuse to feed it. When you let go of the need to respond, you also let go of the need for validation. You stop seeking approval from people who were never going to give it to you in the first place. You stop trying to explain yourself to those who have already made up their minds. You release yourself from the exhausting cycle of proving your worth to people who don't see it. Choosing not to engage doesn't mean you don't feel the sting of disrespect. It means you decide that your energy is too valuable to waste on those who don't appreciate it. It means you recognize that some battles are not worth fighting because they don't lead to growth. They only lead to more conflict, more frustration. There is a deep kind of power in staying quiet after disrespect. It is the power of self-control, the power of knowing your worth without needing to prove it, the power of walking away without looking back, the power of refusing to let someone else's negativity become your burden to carry. There is a kind of peace that comes with refusing to engage in negativity. When someone disrespects you, they are expecting a reaction. They want to pull you into a conflict, to disrupt your inner calm, to make you feel the same turmoil they are projecting. But when you choose silence, when you choose to walk away with dignity, you rob them of that power. You maintain your peace, and that is a victory they never saw coming. Not every battle is worth fighting. Some people speak out of ignorance, others out of insecurity, and some simply out of a need to exert control over others. Engaging with them does not lead to understanding. It leads to exhaustion. It drains you of energy that could be used for something greater. It consumes your thoughts long after the moment has passed. And for what? To prove a point to someone who was never listening, to gain the respect of someone who was never going to give it. True peace comes from knowing that you are in control of yourself, that no one else has the power to pull you out of your character, that you decide what is worth your time, your energy, your focus. When you refuse to engage with disrespect, you are making a conscious decision to protect your own well-being. You are choosing to rise above instead of sinking to their level. Silence does not mean surrender. It does not mean allowing disrespect to continue. It means recognizing that your response does not need to be immediate or emotional. It means knowing when to address a situation with a clear mind and when to simply let it go. It means understanding that your peace is worth more than a temporary sense of satisfaction from responding in anger. The most powerful people are not those who react to everything thrown their way. They are the ones who remain unshaken, the ones who stay focused, the ones who do not allow others to dictate their emotions. They know that their energy is precious, that their mind is a space to be protected, and that not every insult deserves a reply. Choosing silence after disrespect is not about letting things slide. It's about being intentional with your energy. It's about knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. It's about refusing to give negativity a place in your mind. It's about choosing peace over chaos, self-respect over reaction, and wisdom over impulsiveness. And in that choice, you find a strength that cannot be shaken. There is an unmatched power in walking away. It is not weakness, nor is it avoidance. It is the ultimate act of self-control. When someone disrespects you, they're expecting a reaction. They want you to argue, to defend yourself, to prove a point. But when you choose to remove yourself from the situation, you are making it clear that their words and actions do not define you. You are choosing yourself over the chaos they are trying to create. Walking away does not mean you are incapable of standing up for yourself. It does not mean you are afraid or unwilling to face confrontation. It means you understand that not all battles are worth fighting. It means recognizing that your time, your energy, and your peace of mind are too valuable to be wasted on those who are not willing to respect them. Some people thrive on conflict. They feed off of negativity. They enjoy stirring up emotions and drawing others into their storm. But just because they are creating chaos does not mean you have to step into it. There is strength in knowing when to disengage. It is easy to get caught up in the need to prove something, to make sure the other person knows they were wrong, to get the last word, to ensure your voice is heard. But real confidence does not require constant validation. It does not need to prove itself in every argument. It knows that some things are better left unanswered. When you walk away from disrespect, you are setting a boundary. You are telling the world that you will not entertain behavior that does not align with your self-worth. You are showing others how you expect to be treated. And in doing so, you are also protecting your energy from the toxicity of the moment. Some will mistake your silence for submission. They will think that by walking away, you have conceded. But the truth is, you have won. You have won because you refused to give them the reaction they were looking for. You have won because you have preserved your peace. You have won because you chose to respond with wisdom instead of emotion. Not every situation requires your presence. Not every argument deserves your voice. And not every act of disrespect needs to be met with resistance. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply walk away, not because you are weak, but because you are strong enough to know that your energy is better spent elsewhere.